يا عباد الله هبوا ونداء الحق لبوا فاعبدوه مخلصين.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. You most welcome yet again to another inspiring edition of your favorite program, Stories of Devotion. In this series, as we always do, we get up close with 7 missionaries and other dedicated members of the Ahmadi Muslim community here in Africa. We delve into their lives to get you the stories that will definitely inspire you. I am your host, Ustaz Abdul Kadr Bin Ahmad. We are most honored today to have as our guest Ustaz Ahmad Boaheng. Ustaz, you are most welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Right. Ustaz Ahmad Boaheng is currently the 7th missionary for the Tripoli circuit in the northern region here in Ghana. Ustaz, tell us something about you. Who is Ustaz Ahmad Boaheng?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name is Ahmad Boaheng, born in the year 1972. My parents are Osofo Isa Asamoah, a retired senior circuit missionary, and my mother is Madam Salamat Apiedu of blessed memory. As a son of a missionary, I grew up in so many different places. When I grew up, I realized that my father being a missionary, I have to comport myself in a way that will show that this is a son of a missionary. Where we were at the first place was Sunyane Fiepre in Brong Ahafo region. At that time, my father being a missionary, he taught us a number of things so far as the teachings of Islam Ahmadiyya is concerned. I went through schools in various places. I schooled at Sunyane Fiepre in the Brong Ahafo region from day nursery up to class 4.
Okay, before we even continue, let me just cut in here. You know, as a missionary's son, okay, living in a Christian dominated, community, how was life like? I mean, where you go home and then you are given all forms of moral training, and then you go back to meet your friends in school, and then I mean, the situation is different. How were you able to cope as a missionary's son, an Ahmadi missionary's son, living in the Christian community? How was life like growing up?
Being in a place where Muslims and Christians are mixed together wasn't a problem at all. I schooled at Roman Catholic school where Christians were even more than the Muslims. But because of what we were taught in the house, always we tried to comport ourselves so far as the character of a Muslim is concerned.
Okay, you were in a Christian school, and then they knew you. Did they know that you were, the son of a Muslim?
Actually, I cannot tell, but those of my friends, they were aware of that.
Okay, but then going through the school, you never experienced any form of hindrance towards your religious obligations, did you?
Actually, because it was a Roman school, whenever we closed from school, we had to go to where the statue of Mary and Jesus Christ is to say Eja ni Oba ni Sisukokro before.
Okay, God the Father, God the Son,
God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
What was it compulsory?
It was compulsory.
And how did you feel? How did you feel about that?
At the beginning, I was doing all right, but as time went on, I began to realize that because this is not the practice of my religion, whenever we closed, I had to run away to the house without doing that.
Were you ever penalized for that?
Not at all, because I made sure nobody saw me.
Okay, that's actually quite interesting. But let's just go straight. I mean, at what stage in your life did you make that decision to become a missionary? And then, I mean, what prompted that decision? Why did you make that decision in the first place?
Actually, I quite remember when I was about 15 years old, I was walking with my father, and through our conversation, my father asked me what I would like to become in future if I grow up. So I told him that in future I want to become a movie. I wanted to become a movie because since my father was a missionary, more often than not, missionaries, whether circuit or regional, and even sometime when Amir visited us, he came to our house, and I got to know that this is what I would like to. This is one of those people that I would like to become in future.
Okay, you meant is it your father or Amir? Who among them did you aspire to be like?
You know, those regional missionaries who are movies who used to visit my father from time to time.
You saw them and then you were inspired by their way of teaching, and or their lifestyle.
Yes,
and
please.
So you wanted to become one of them.
Yes, please. Their way of advising people, leading members in congregational prayers and other things. That inspired me.
Okay, this was your dream to be. So it was your dream to become a missionary.
Yes, please.
So at what stage in your life did this particular wish come to pass?
Before I completed from the T.I. Ahmadi Secondary School, Kumasi, I one day saw on our notice board indicating that students are going to be enrolled as students of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Missionary Training College at Sopon. So from there, I had the interest that anytime I complete, that is where I'll be heading to.
Okay, so eventually you completed, and then you got your enrollment into the school, right?
Yes, please.
But at that particular moment where you made that decision, I'm not referring to when when you told your father. That time you only wished to become a missionary, but when you eventually made that decision to go for the enrollment into the school, were you actually aware of the various challenges and trials that accompanies this particular profession? And then were you also aware of the fact that whatever dream that you had, as a child, of ever becoming a rich person or whatever, this decision to become a missionary meant that you were actually going to dissociate yourself from the worldly riches and all that? Were you aware before you made the decision?
Yes, of course, I'm aware. Because my father was a missionary himself, he went through a number of challenges, and due to that, I witnessed some myself. As a missionary in those days, money was not easy to come by. Meaning, when you are a missionary, your financial status is not like the other people. I saw all those things. But because I had made up my mind that come what may, I want to become a missionary, those challenges were just something that I didn't think about.
Okay, when you made the decision to go to Jamia, as you rightly said, your father was a missionary. Life wasn't that easy. When it comes to the worldly gains, it wasn't that easy. And I also know stories about missionaries those days where even salaries had to delay for a number of months before it came. So your father knew all this, and then when he gave birth to you, I'm sure he had dreams for you to pursue other secular courses so that you come and then also become a rich person, whatever. I don't know, but when you made this decision and you told your father, who knew the challenges in his own profession? What did he say? Did he say, was he okay?
Actually, he himself was of the view that after he has gone on retirement, one of his children will surely have to replace him. So when I gave him the answer that I would like to become a missionary, he was always with me with that decision that I took.
Would you recall any particular thing he told you that you think it would be worthy enough to share?
Actually, as I was growing up, I saw a number of things myself. As you rightly mentioned, there were some times Even
I understand all that. We will come there. We eventually come there. Yeah. But what I want now is that can you recall anything that your father said when you told him, because this is the profession where he is, and I want to believe he was happy in that profession, and the fact that you wanted to join him in that profession, I'm sure he was happy, very happy, as you rightly said. He was very happy for you. Could you recall any statement that he made which you will never forget, which you think is worthy to share, which you think was very much interested, that helped you, actually encouraged you to become a missionary?
Yes, please. What he told me was, as a missionary, he is going through a lot of challenges. By the time will come, we those who will come later on, those challenges will no more be there, because those times were different from ours. So definitely how the problem that they were going through, it will not be that much during this our time.
Yeah, but yet you knew you face challenges.
Definitely.
Okay, now you knew you face challenges, and then you thought that whatever challenge that came your way, you will be able to surmount, because your father was able to surmount all of that. Now you got your enrollment, you passed through Jamia at the Ahmadi Muslim Missionaries College successfully, and then which year did you pass out?
I passed out in 1997.
And where was your first posting?
My first posting was to the national headquarters of the Ahmadi Muslim Mission Accra.
Okay, in Greater Accra. Was that your first time of being in the Greater Accra region?
Yes, that was my first time.
Okay, I'm not limiting you to your first posting, but this question is not limiting you to your first posting. I mean, in general, in your service as a missionary so far, have you met any challenge that was so challenging, so challenging that you ever told yourself that well, I knew I was going to face a lot of challenges in this particular work, but if I had known I was going to face this challenge, I'm not sure I have made that decision. Have you ever faced any challenge like that?
Actually, not exactly as you are saying, but as my first posting was in the Greater Accra, the second posting was also in the Greater Accra, as well as the third. Okay. But my fourth posting was to the northern region, Chirponi precisely. Okay. In fact, when I had the letter that I was going to that place, I became perturbed, just because I had been to the place and I knew how the situation there was. So when I had the letter, the first thing that came to my mind was, if I'm being posted to Chirponi, now that my children are being educated at our international school at Bustan.
They were in school in Greater Accra.
Yes, they were schooling in Greater Accra here. And I knew how back in the north, how the schooling is. I thought to myself, if that is the situation, I wouldn't like my children to be schooled there. Okay. So what came to my mind at the spot was that then I have to get a place somewhere around Accra, so that whilst I'm away, my children can still continue to be going to schooling at that.
They can remain in Greater Accra, so that they will be schooling at their school where they were at that particular time.
Exactly.
But you said when you had letter, you were perturbed. That's the word you were perturbed, because you knew the conditions at northern region. I mean, describe the condition. How worse?
One of them is what I've made mention.
The school. Okay.
Of the school. Apart from that, the weather condition there is not favorable.
Okay.
It's not friendly at all. During those times, to sleep is even a problem. So all those things come together was something that I was afraid of. But then, being a missionary, I know wherever that I might be sent, I will try to do my best. So I had to go finally.
Okay, now you eventually you had to go.
Yes.
So you left Greater Accra, and then you got to Chirponi. I mean, so let's start from there. Now you have gotten to Chirponi, the place that you did fear, the place you feared to go, the place you describe as a condition, a condition there wasn't that favorable. Now you are there. Now you are going to face whatever fear that you had there. Tell me about your experience the first 3 months of you being in Chirponi. What really happened?
The first 3 months.
Aside the fact that water was a problem, aside the fact that language was a problem, aside the fact that even their tradition was different, but in the course of doing your work as a missionary, in the course of delivering the message of Ahmadiyya and then getting converts, I mean, what challenges did you face in this direction?
My first 3 places that I went, as a circuit missionary, there are a number of works that is assigned to you as a missionary. But when I went to the north, Chirponi precisely, the opposite was the case. What I mean is, up there in the north, a missionary will not be allowed. Some places, you will not even be allowed to lead the members because they think they have their imam already. For you, somebody who is even younger than their imam, you wouldn't be allowed to lead them. For example, when somebody is coming to marry, down in the south here, we, the circuit missionary, we are in charge of all those things. But when I went there, I saw that the opposite was the case.
Okay, if I understand you well, what you really means that your first challenge that you faced was with their tradition. The people there who call themselves Muslims, they had actually mingled tradition with their religion. And so though you are a missionary, they still saw you as a young guy, and so they wouldn't allow a young guy to lead prayers, and so they denied you from leading prayers. This is what happened there.
Yeah, this is what happened. Actually, not even a younger man or something like that, but even if I were to be old enough, because they had their imam already, it would be very difficult for them to allow me to lead them,
though they recognize you as a
imam.
missionary.
Yes.
Okay. That was your first challenge, but I'm sure the time you were there, you were married, right?
Yes, please.
So I mean, you were experienced as well.
Yes.
Okay. Aside this, what were some of the other challenges that you faced in that circuit?
Other challenges were also that.
I mean, the field of doing your work as a missionary.
Yeah.
There were non-Ahmadi communities there,
Yes.
right? I mean, how was the relationship with the non-Ahmadi communities? Were they cordial, or they as usual try to oppose your teachings?
We were cordial. There was no any problem between myself and the non-Ahmadis.
They accepted you as a Muslim?
Yes, they accepted me as a Muslim.
Okay. What about the other Christian communities there?
The other Christian community, the same. Even one pastor there was my friend. He used to come to me. I also used to go to him.
Okay. Alhamdulillah for that. As a missionary, I will have to ask this. What has been your relationship with the Hazrat Khalifatul Masih?
As a missionary, from time to time, we need direction and guidance from our spiritual leader. So what we do normally is to write to him for guidance. If there's something which is beyond my control, I do write to him from time to time.
Okay, now has there ever been a situation where you were in difficulty, or you faced any challenge, and then you wrote for him for prayers or directives, and then after you got your reply, everything was solved? Well, has there been any such incident?
Yes, I quite remember when I was the circuit missionary for Kaswa. There was one woman who had been married for some time, but there was no issue. So because of that, the husband had to go in for the second wife. But when the second wife came, she was able to give birth. And women, from time to time, when there is some quarrel between the two wives, one with a child will try to tease the other.
Okay.
So this got to me, and what I decided to do was to write to Huzu, so that Allah may, out of His grace and mercy, may bless her with a child.
Okay.
And lo and behold, we wrote that letter, a reply came that inshallah she will have a baby. And alhamdulillah, after I have left Kaswa Seke to Tema, the woman conceived and gave birth to a child. As a missionary, Huzu, or the Khalifa, is the representative of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in that case, whenever we face any challenges, we try to refer to him by writing a letter to him for his guidance. And I did when I was in Kaswa Circuit for one woman who was not able to conceive. And due to that, the other wife used to tease her. So this was brought to my knowledge, and what I did was to write a letter to our spiritual leader who can give a guidance. And lo and behold, a reply came that inshallah the woman will conceive and have a baby. And after I have left that circuit to a different one, I was told that the woman conceived and gave birth to a child.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I'll need to, send you back to your dedication. Okay, your dedication. You decided to become a missionary, ignoring all other lucrative, jobs, because you had the zeal to serve Allah Almighty. That is that's the purpose of which we are created in the first place. So I quite understand you very well. But today, when you sit down today, and then you see what we have gone through, I'm sure you have achieved a lot as a missionary, all right. But when you compare yourself to your other colleagues who took to the secular education, and you see where they have reached, in terms of respect and then richness and whatever, and you see them where they have reached. I mean, when you see them, are you so proud of the decision that you took? If you are given the option now to pursue the secular education as they did, and that has led them to where they are now, and then you being a missionary, if that option is given to you now, which one will you choose? Will you still want to be a missionary, and why?
Yes, of course. I'm still proud to be a missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission. Now all those my mates whom we completed school at the same time, we are all grown up. A number of us are working. Some are engineers, some are doctors, some are bank managers. But to me, when we meet, there is no difference so far as financial position is concerned. So I don't see it to be that when you are a missionary, somebody who is a bank manager or a doctor is superior to you as a missionary.
Okay, therefore you are so proud of that decision that you took to become a missionary.
Yes, please.
So, I mean, in what way? How has you become a missionary positively impacted in your life? What have you gained from becoming a missionary?
Becoming a missionary, there are a lot, but for now, let me say a few of them. Now that I'm a missionary, even in my family, I'm not the first child of my father, but from time to time we meet as a family. When we meet, the eldest position is given to me because I'm a missionary. So that respect is there. And even my colleagues who are doctors, who are engineers and whatnot, when we meet, because they know I'm a missionary, that respect is reserved for me.
Oh, okay. Therefore, in effect, what you are saying is that you have gotten the respect, that respect that everybody aspires for, the respect that will entice someone to pursue the secular education. Allah Almighty has given you that respect. If it's about riches, that will entice someone to pursue the secular education. Now that you left the secular education and then pursued the religious studies to serve Allah Almighty, and Allah Almighty has eventually added that particular one to you. You are not rich, but I mean you are not poor. Allah Almighty has been providing for you, right?
Oh, I'm not poor.
Okay, Alhamdulillah.
I cannot say I'm rich too.
Okay, Alhamdulillah, Allah Almighty has been so good. I mean, do you have any inspiring incidents to convince someone that indeed I haven't lost being a missionary? You have already said you have gotten respect. You have gotten, I mean, Allah has been providing for you. So therefore, when you see the other colleagues who pursue secular education, then they have reached whatever they have reached, you are still better than them. You have the blessing in the work, and you have contentment, real contentment of heart. You are having it. But how has Allah Almighty helped you? How have you gotten closer to Allah Almighty because of your profession?
At the time that I was given a letter of transfer to the northern region, what came to my mind, as I told you, that to look for a place where my family, that's my wife and my children, will stay so that they'll be able to school at their school where they are schooling.
Yeah.
When that came to my mind, you know, as a missionary at that time, to get a place of accommodation apart from what the mission has given you was not something easy.
Okay.
But when this came to my mind, when this letter came, what came to my mind was that I had to make sure I get a place for them. So there was one woman in our circuit where I used to go and teach the children. When I mentioned this to her, what she told me was, if by the grace of Allah I get a place at anywhere that I'm looking for accommodation for my wife and children, she would definitely help. So I should let her know. You know what? After I have gotten the accommodation, I told her I was in my house when this lady sent his son with a car to my place, bringing me the amount that they were charging was about 720. Okay. The woman brought me 750 to cater for my accommodation, for my children.
For the rent, right?
Yes. Not that alone. You know, when that rent expired, you know what happened? When that rent expired too, I was with one prominent member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission in one of the circuits in the Greater Accra, and I told him that inshallah, if Allah wills, I'll be very grateful if through him I'll be able to get a land whereby in future I'll put up a building. And you know, this man went to a Muslim who is not an Ahmadi and told him that his missionary is looking for a place so that in future he will put up some small building. You know what happened? When this Ahmadi told the friend who is a non-Ahmadi, what he said was, if the person is your missionary, I will give him the land. Lo and behold, he gave me the land. As if that was not enough, you know, when the land was given to me, because I was financially incapacitated, I was not able to do something on the land initially. What I could do was to put the sand and gravels on it. But later on, when I went back to see the land was nowhere to be found.
How?
Wonderfully. You know, when I went there was somebody who was trying to own the land in all that area.
Okay.
So there was a serious litigation on that land. So I had to leave. So we went and informed that man that the land that he gave me is nowhere to be found.
So someone had actually encroached on the
land.
land. Okay.
And what he did was, he said he would give me. He gave me a second one. The second one too, when I went one day, somebody had put some posts and written some names, indicating that it's for somebody. Okay. So I had to go to him again. And what he said was, he will give me another one. Wow. He gave me another one, and in fact, even the third one that was given to me was better than the two that he gave me. So when he gave me the third one, what this prominent Ahmadi told me was that this time we have to do something. We have to do something, but where is the money? So through this prominent Ahmadi, now I can boast of a place whereby when I come from the north, I have a place of rest where I can lay my legs with my family.
Alhamdulillah. That means that whenever you choose to serve Allah Almighty, He helps you, in miraculous ways.
Exactly.
And then He will never put you to shame. He will never disgrace you. Whenever you are in need, Allah Almighty Himself will find ways to help you out. And then, as you have just narrated, whenever you are in need, Allah Almighty, through certain righteous people came in to help you. Alhamdulillah. Unfortunately, we don't have much time. I wish we had enough time so that we could have gone on and then discussed your life so much. But we don't have time, so I think we have to end here. But before we go, your last words for my viewers.
Viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What I would like to tell every person who is watching us at this time is being a missionary is something very, very good as a person. There are other things out there that when you do or you become, you gain something, whether position or name. But becoming a missionary is something that each one of you should try and then enroll his child at the missionary training college for him to become a missionary so that he can work as I'm working.
Well, Jazakumullah, Ustaz. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Well, viewers, this brings us to the end of our program today, Stories of Devotion. We just finished speaking with Ustaz Ahmad Boaheng, who is currently the circuit missionary for Tripone Circuit in the northern region of Ghana. He has said it all. According to him, he said it's better. It's actually better for you to seek after the worldly riches and all that. It is good. I mean, you need them to worship Allah Almighty well. But then, in search of worldly riches and all that, fame, whatever, you should not also lose sight of the reason for which you were created. You were created to serve Allah Almighty, and then you should never lose sight of that particular fact. Jazakumullah to him once again. And until we meet again next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.